So this is game 2 between these two players, Andi and Vevi. This is Vevi's home map and he's gone with Golden Pit for this one. Vevi picking Malians for this one, strong overall sim, very versatile, saves a lot of wood considering that most if not all of the buildings are cheaper wood-wise. Andi with the Aztecs for this one. Aztecs good on gold heavy maps. They could collect the relics as well for 33% more relic gold, but as long as you have gold as Aztecs, you could go into Eagle Warriors, commit to Arbalest, or even make Jaguar Warriors a strong infantry unit from the castle. Not to mention Aztec monks, they get stronger the more monk technologies you get, so that's definitely an option as well. They're about to find these sheep here, both just scouting their home bases for now. Laming is allowed in this tournament, but of course before you go lame you generally want to find your own resources, and Andi seems in full control of those at the moment. Found both boars and all sheep. Now, same with Vevi picking off his sheep. Now actually going forward. Might be considering a lame here. If Vevi spots this boar, he could actually lame it. To talk a little bit on the maps, Andi's gold's position's not ideal here. One to the west here, pretty exposed. He has this one a bit closer to the TC though, so he could wall like this section here, at least he would access to these 3 golds. Besides woodlands as well, wall between woodlands, and you have a nicely full walled base. If you can get to it finally. Vevi here with the gold in the back, always nice. In exchange his other gold is forward here, so that's also not ideal, easily denied, especially by ranged units, and but could at least form part of a wall in the front here. And looks like Vevi's base will call some for more extensive walling, but the full wall is also an option here between the natural resources here. Nice woodline in the back for Vevi, and a bit smaller for Andi on the other side, but still decent woodlines, absolutely. Now let's move on to see if we can get into field action. Both civilizations here with strong infantry. The Malian infantry line gets 1+1 pierce armor per age, so they are extra tanky against ranged units. So Men-at-Arms opening for Malians is usually quite strong. Aztecs as well, they start with 50 extra gold, means they can make more militia early for the rush, or more Men-at-Arms than the generic civs. You could easily go 5 Men-at-Arms. With Aztecs, if you go for the Men-at-Arms opening instead of the usual 3, because if you mine the gold as you usually would with this kind of play, you are still left with 50 extra gold to spend on the military units and upgrades. Barracks is going up here for Andi, going to the goal as well. I assume that's mirrored on Vevi's side. Vevi surprisingly enough goes for the forward gold here first. That's going to be easily denied by the forward of his opponent. And 10% creation speed. That's true. Barracks work faster, or for Aztecs as well. Is it all army production or? What does this say? Military units created 10% faster. All military units then, I guess. That's nice. So both Andi and Vevi with the wall ops here. Scout forward for Vevi sees what's coming. That's going to be 4 at least Man-at-Arms for the Aztecs player. Vevi with 5 total in his barracks here. So he's actually preparing for the Aztecs forward here. Is going to match the numbers here. More of an investment, obviously, gold-wise, but easier to defend when you have more numbers. Scout pulls away just in time, and here come the 5 militia, but there's Man-at-Arms. Has the hill even, and should be able to contest Andi's army nicely here. Scout chasing Scout here, and Man-at-Arms going for Man-at-Arms here. Vevi takes the hill, Tries to take the favorable engagement here from the hill, but has one standing downhill as well. Looks like a pretty even turnout here with Vevi. Wins the fights, gets weakened a lot of his units, but he still has one scout and 3 men-at-arms to go for him, and Andi rushes up the walls at home meanwhile, and won't let these units easily pass into his economy here. Last option here, running under the TC, but surprisingly enough, no economy under TC for Andi at this moment, so running under a TC here with the scout is just fine, and Vevi can run in and gather scouting intel for himself here to make use of for the later game. You should see 5 on gold, usually would suggest an archer's follow-up then from the Aztecs player. A little bit surprising against Malians that have not just the extra pierce armor and infantry unit, making that a decent counter to especially village archers, but also they also have more than decent archers of their own. Now chasing the archers here with the scout, that's going to go down. Another man-at-arm has been created in Andi's base, so that's going to help fighting off against these units here, but causes some idle time. He pulls in 2 villagers to deal with these soldiers here, and now Vevi is going for the wood line in the back, it seems. And he could quick wall this though, I think. Does not go for the quick wall, and Andi actually doesn't have loom yet, so that's going to hurt him quite a bit here. He invested into the early militia and didn't really spend any gold, so he spent the gold that he hadn't mined any gold yet. He spent the gold he had in the bank for the military production, and not having loom here is pretty hurtful for Andi. It could be pretty hurtful for Andi now. He's not lost a single villager yet, I think. And he's being harassed on multiple sides. I think Vevi going really heavily into the infantry line here. He's just continuously adding men-at-arms here and playing the Malians potentially with the extra pierce armor. No archers follow up even though he has the range. He's going mainly men-at-arms here to break through the walls and deal damage, and that's certainly going to catch Andi off guard here. Andi, without any loom on the villagers, still risks losing quite a few here with this amount of men-at-arms in his base. Archers no fletching yet for Andi, so that means no +1 attack here. And yeah, see, I'm not really dealing much damage to the men-at-arms here. I think it's only 1 damage per shot by now. TC fire will be a bit worse though, but that means idle TC time for Andi, and more room for production for Vevi overall. Vevi is behind 3 villagers though and has a weaker economy overall. Aztecs villagers, they bring in more resources per trip as well, so that's one of the Aztec strong suits there. Four men-at-arms still alive, being chased by archers. This also keeps Andi's archer aggression at bay. Look at this steady flow of men-at-arms. Vevi is really committing here, with 2 on gold, and that seems to be enough to sustain this kind of forward. He's with food and gold, 14 on food, and just keeps denying the walls here, making an opening for himself again, and sends a steady flow of men-at-arms forward. Maybe it pulls back now. Is still denying a bit of a woodline here. Going to lose these men-at-arms here now though. Only committing to villagers now. Maybe happy with the damage he has dealt so far. And his army numbers are increasing though. It's 7 to 3 military here now. And let's look at Andi's eco setup. He, food and gold wise, he is actually kind of further away if you can cast stage. He's missing more food to click up than Vevi does, but Vevi might be missing the second building, which is going up right now. Could use the market to adjust the economy a little bit just to get that cast stage kick in. Could be seeing Vevi going first to the next age here, considering Andi's current food and gold count. And he doesn't have a market either, so he can't really adjust here. and start chasing the archers again. Won't really be able to get close then. No, Andi is preparing the counter forward here. To his surprise though, Vevi is going to go to the cast stage now, even with that man at arms investment, and taking some hunt now for the extra boost of food here. And let's have a look at Andi's resources. Just 150 food shy of clicking up. Vevi, on the other hand, only needs to wall a little bit more at these woodlands and his security economy. There's an opening here as well, but that's just so easily stopped. Vevi wants longswords rush. Yeah, that would be a good play against archers actually. But he has lost most of his military, though. It's 12 to 4 military right now. Ah, he got supplies as well, so he's really going to play the Malians Infantry strength here then. And a good call as long as Andi goes for the archers here, because archers are going to need a lot more hits to take out Malians infantry units. And anyway, if he wants to switch to eagle raids, if Vevi has longswords, the eagles will die to those anyway. Not much action on the map at the moment. Maybe we'll just boost the timer a little bit and see what happens later on. And seeing the archers' investment into crossbows for Andi here, as longswords are moving forward for Vevi on the other side here, and Andi is missing all of that action, so he's going to be caught off guard over here. Won't have his archers ready to defend. Longswords with the +1 and the appropriate defense upgrades here. Vevi will have to be careful against the counter-attack of archers here though. So we could be seeing some good trades here. 2 barracks for Vevi. He's going to lose access of this gold now though to these mass crossbows forward. We'll maybe consider trying for a quick wall here, but Andi looks like he even has ballistics already, or he's just got enough numbers to hit these villagers. No ballistics yet, no university for Andi. He's also pre-calling and keeping these longswords out for now, but most of his army is forward. Only 2 crossbows here to deal with the longswords aggression, and here they go, they are inside. So this is going to be tough to defend from for Andi. He needs to go assemble up masses of crossbows here himself, because they are Malian longswords are really tanky against archer fire, but Andi commits to his forward here, but Vevi with some more longswords from his production at home as well, so if he gets to the proper numbers he could contest this group of archers. Vevi could consider adding some siege as well, because he has the wood for a siege workshop. Just drop it in the back here and try and get some sneaky hits in. You have to look at the forward though. Lots of longswords now taking Andi off at least one woodline here. Killing villagers. Villager counts much more even than the previous game here. Maybe if he gets a few more kills now, we'll have the villager lead. Now evening it out, it's 36 to 36. Vevi neglecting to commit to villagers at home though, so you need to kill even more to even out these numbers. Now 2 TCs producing for Vevi and only 1 for Andi, so Vevi in a good spot right now. Also cleaning up to some extent the archers forward of Andi. Now imagine having a mangonel at the ready here just to get the hit in on this choke point here of the archers. And can't really send in one at a time. We'll need more numbers here, producing consistently out of 2 barracks though, and again, and idling Andi a lot at home here. Andi doesn't have nearly enough crossbows here to defend, but now he's going to a monster. He's going to go for some monk defense here against his longswords forward, and longswords should be fairly easy to convert. Longswords now moving back, and Andi moved to the middle to drop some presence here in the middle. Maybe a castle first and then a TC. There we go, here's the castle from Andi. And if he can get Jaguar Warriors on the field, he has a fantastic counter to the Longswordsmen, because they're simply stronger overall. And they're actually committing a lot to the middle now. He's off both woodlands from what I can see, so he will need to relocate some villagers to wood as well. 0 on wood for Andi here. But also significant crossbow mass is now only 7 longswords left for Vevi. Ballistics kicking in for Andi as well. In the end, he shouldn't have any troubles sniping these longswordsmen using the hit and run opportunity here. Castle goes up in the middle. Doesn't go into any infantry production here, and Vevi has been neglecting his eco upgrade, so that's going to take its toll on the eco difference here, although Vevi has more resources in the bank currently. Military 20 to 17, that's mainly crossbows. Vevi splitting up the longsword here, trying to avoid hits. But won't really get close enough. Andi is microing hit and run, hit and run, hit and run here, and will be finally taking out the longswords. And he's on stone wall in the middle, not producing anything for the time being. He is idling, and he is struggling for wood. He's back on 1 woodland now. He has cleaned up. Vevi is forward, but he will need more wood for the long run here. But anyway, 4 on wood is not nearly enough at this rate. Could be that he wants to take even more middle control with castles here, because he's still with 13 on stone for, right now. And yeah, doesn't have a lot of barracks either, just farms either. It's just really... I'm not sure what Andi's plan is here. He's going for some monks. He's pretty heavy on gold as well, so monks could be the play here for Aztecs, of course. For each monk technology you get, the monks get more hit points. And if you get redemption, he could even convert siege weapons off his opponent. Longswords now moving forward for Vevi again committing to longsword play. Now there are 3 monks on the field to convert some of them here, and Andi with his crossbows will be able to get some nice hits in as well. If Vevi now tries to take out the monks with the siege, he won't really succeed here because he risks hitting his own units. Not sure if Andi has, or I mean, he probably doesn't have redemption in yet because the monk didn't convert the siege here. Loses some numbers though, but the gold loss is larger for Andi here. Andi, however, won't struggle for gold there. Is back nicely on wood as well, going to probably drop. Okay, he's going for 1 monsters, so going to commit to 2 TCs for now. Vevi is with 2 TCs as well, and walling off his sides here in case of any aggression coming his way. Committing real hard to the non-swordsman play here. Did not invest into the second Castle Age upgrade for the attack though. But Andi is now the one with the mentionable middle control here. 1 castle and 1 tree, and generally mining a lot of gold here. Something that could play into the Aztecs' favor here with going into the monks and gold heavy units. Otherwise, second infantry attack upgrade coming in for Vevi here. Now going to add some rams as well, maybe garrison some longswords in for speed with these rams, break through the walls and try to deal damage yet again. Vevi, however, doesn't know too much about what's going on in the middle, knows about this castle, that's basically it, but he must know then that Andi is taking quite a bit of gold and stone in the middle here. Scores pretty even between the players. Vevi with a significant villager lead here has been pretty annoying, and this side of the base here with his infantry forward now accompanied by siege as well. Let's see if Andi has 50 HP. It tells me about a couple of monk technologies already has been researched. 5 monks total, so with some monk micro here, we could get 5 long swordsman conversions out of all this. Looks like didn't actually get too many there, did not convert to siege either, so maybe redemption isn't in yet. That's pretty gold heavy technology, so it's not something you rush. And defensive castle is up though, it puts sort of a stopper to siege forwards like this. Look at the military numbers though. 41 military for Vevi here. Sends Ram to deal with the castle. Uses, doesn't care about the tower. No castle fire or crossbows fire here. Just lets the crossbows have the choke point here and hunts them down with archers here. Losing numbers rapidly low, and Andi is the one sustaining numbers here. Monks will get some conversions as well on the longswordsmen, I believe. But Vevi is going to the Imperial Age here. Is not stressing the middle at all here, might be considered a mistake on his part, but he's dealing damage at home from in Andi's base here, so it's far from over. Converted longswordsman does help out against this Rando, and that's a lot of gold down the drain for Vevi, who is now almost running out of gold at home and finally going to the middle here to drop a castle and then a mining camp. Castle's going up, no battle events for now. And we're going to Imperial Age as well, 50%-ish behind Vevi, and with less villagers overall. He is Aztecs though, so he has a decent economy to back it. In any case, some Jaguars in the mix as well. Note the attack of Jaguar Warrior is 10 against the Longswordsman 9s +2, so Jaguars not necessarily stronger, but yeah, it's a good contestant against Longswordsman here. And this technology here as well is redemption for Andi, means that his monks can convert enemy siege and buildings as well. So if Andi sneaks the monks around here, for example, he could convert the ranges and barracks. And for each monk technology you get, they will get more HP for Aztecs, so the monks are at 60 HP now for Andi. So note that Andi had a control group for all the monks there, then he split away all the monks except for one, to make sure that only one monk is using faith to do the conversion. Treb on the field, and now getting even block printing. I believe that's giving 3 extra range for the monks. He's getting Theocracy. I need to check out all of these upgrades, what they actually do. Theocracy, I guess that's the one that means that only one monk needs to regenerate. In a group of monks converts one enemy unit, only one of the monks must rest afterward. So if you use this whole group of monks to convert units, then they'd still have faith to go on after. Not an insignificant army of monks going forward here now. It's a total of 14 monks. Not quite sure where he's going. Going to try and convert some long swordsmen here of the Malian player. And could convert the Trev as well, but then you need to get close enough. And with wood and golden bank, not queuing Turbs of his own. He's missing a little bit of gold for the Turbs. Understandably so, since he's going for ridiculous masses of monks here. Myself would be proud of Andi for this one. Myself loves his monks play, so he'd be happy to see his fellow clan members adopt that kind of playstyle. Monks, crossbows, Jaguar warriors, long swordsmen, Treb. This is beginning to resemble an AI army here, and Andi sends Treb from all the way back in his home base here. 2 castles in the middle of a Vevi, Andi with 1. But with this amount of monks on the field and the appropriate technologies, they're not as easy to kill. 75 HP now, and you could also use the group to convert many units at a time here. Military numbers pretty similar here. Vevi with a significant villager lead though for this game is with almost 40 more villagers here, but also a slightly bit less army now going into champions. What I think Vevi needs here is maybe to get Farimba for his cavalry and get into Farimba light cab. Because if you could send Farimba light cab next to the monks, light cab has resistance conversions to conversions. So but they also have a hidden attack bonus against monks. These monks are really tanky though, so it would be tough to take them out still. You would risk some conversions. Trebs attacking Trebs here, we know how accurate these can be. Trying some repairs here, but Vevi must be struggling for some wood here actually for repairs, or just didn't click the repair function properly. Stacking up on numbers though, going for the champion upgrade here has the full defense here and the missing just the Imperial Age attack upgrade if Malians don't get it for infantry. Andi could also be a play here for Vevi to take out masses of monks like you see here, but the monks could of course convert siege, so that would be risky. Skirmishers, I'm not sure how they would deal with monks overall, should be interesting to see. They are Malian skirmishers, not bad at all. Look at the conversions being tried by Andi here, clicking the champions mainly here. Yeah, the priests are heavy at work here for the Aztecs players. Scores still pretty similar between the two. Vevi with villager lead, Andi now with military lead, and yeah, we'll for sure get lots of conversions here. I think he pulled all of his monks into the castle. He probably even has herbal medicine, since that's a monastery technology as well, so that his units heal faster. So he could actually garrison inside the castle and heal them up really quickly if needed. Get some serious conversions here, mixes in his Jaguar warriors as well, that have the 10+1 long swordsman with 9+2 here, because that's a converted Malian one. And they go for more middle control here though with another castle and keeps his army close to deal with it. And Vevi seems to be going into the cavalry play here now. Let's see if he got that unique technology from the castle at Farimba. Doesn't seem like it did yet, none of those. It's also pretty expensive tech. Fascinating to see Vevi can't really move close enough forward here with this time, because there are so many monks in the mix here. Looks like the castle might go down for Vevi here. Vevi with a significant mass of rangers now, maybe actually wants to get into Arbalest as well against the monks if his eco can support it. He is only with 6 on gold now, he's losing little control, it has at least a lot of gold in the bank here, that helps out a little bit. So a converted champion goes down here. Vevi struggles to keep the castle alive, might or might not be able to finish conscription here. No, I don't think he will keep the castle up long enough here. Some of the Trebs are focusing other Trebs though, but there goes the castle. No conscription for Vevi, he doesn't have any castle anymore, and is losing ground, especially in the middle here, as Andi is getting, again, quite a few conversions here on the army moving in. Skirmishers do decent work against monks, it seems. He gets one pick off here with its masses, but even more conversion kick in as Andi can just use his whole mass of monks and knows that only one of them need to regenerate at a time. And gold obviously not an issue for Andi anymore. He's been controlling the middle for a long while now. Floats a lot of resources in the bank. Not really spending any of them now, but just holding the middle and converting units and not making anything else than monks for the time being. Should be interesting to see the conversion stats after this from both players. Making army now, mostly light cav and rams for Vevi, and going to be monks and just villagers for Andi. Andi will be catching up in the villager numbers now, I believe, because he's on 3 TCs as well and has consistent TC production, something Vevi does not. Vevi has settled for his 121 villagers here, and that should be more than enough, of course, to sustain consistent army production. Monks doing work yet again, get some quick conversions on the champions here. But here come the light cav with Farimba for Malians, the unique technology. So they have lots of extra attack here, +4 attack or +5 attack from Farimba technology. So they should be able to snipe the trebs here and should be able to snipe some monks as well, I think. So it's a good switch by Vevi to go into Farimba here, but the eco looks a bit tougher. Could drop another castle though and get that conscription upgrade. We'll be getting some nice raids in here. Probably will be picking off quite a few monks as well now, but trebs need to be addressed as well. Meanwhile, Andi is getting some unique techs. Could it be Garland Wars he got maybe for his infantry? Yeah. Monk still in the mix. How many monsters? I think it's two monsters only for Andi, but keeping the numbers consistent. Lots of light cav on the field to deal with here now. No, lots of army presence. 40 military against 18 here for Vevi. Maybe cap trams actually could be enough to take out the presence in the middle here. Cap ram on either side, but Andi has redemption, so he's probably going to convert some of the rams here if he's allowed to. I don't know if he needs to get straight up close to the rams in order to do so, but he's actually getting conversions even on the light cav here, so that limits the elimination potential for the light cav here. Looking at military numbers though, consistent production for Vevi here, even though it's only light cav, they're doing something here. Pikeman now in the mix for Andi. I believe he has Garland Wars as well, that gives the Pikeman extra attack, or all of Aztec infantry extra attack. And more cap rams come in as Vevi drops another castle in the middle here, and he's about to take Andi completely off the eco in the middle here. Lots of idols here for Andi, 25 idols total, Vevi with some idols as well, but not nearly as much subject to raids. I think it's time for Andi to go maybe into some switch here, go into some Eagle Warriors maybe, just to get some raids in on Vevi's eco, because Vevi is about to take the middle here again. Pikeman should help out a lot though against this Malians light cav. They could actually, it seems like they could take out, with their extra attack, they could take out rams pretty easily as well. So this last castle will be standing and is going to force some repairs as well. The overall eco for Andi is looking pretty sharp here. Vevi also with lots of eco in the bank, none of them quite pop capped yet. Vevi with more villagers, less military, overall population a bit higher here. Great job of Vevi here to clean up the middle, save for one castle, and going into the right transition like it did with the Farimba light cav here. Really works out. Castle is still subject to some trebs fire here, and there are still some monks left on the field as well. And he could replenish his monks because he still has gold access. And adding just a few monks here and mainly pikes to deal with the light cav raids here. So Andi is holding on, well, after all. Losing this castle for Vevi is kind of a bad sign now, because the Stone count is not there nearly enough to drop yet another castle here. You need to be in the middle to get stone for another castle or buy some, and losing the castle again means losing safe gold access, as Andy still has military presence now with 68 military against 32 for Vevi here. Some raids in Vevi space, those light cav, foreign by light cav here, as another castle goes up for Andy. He has been mining stone in the middle as well, so he could afford these kinds of investments. Gets delayed quite a bit here by the light cav raids, but not going to be denied, I think. Yeah, I think this is going to come down to military presence on the field and not necessarily eco here, because Andy is now with 80-ish military and still adding monks at the very least. Vevi is producing military consistently as well, now with champions in the mix again as well, but still we'll still need the light cav here to deal with the monks as efficiently as possible. With these tanky monks with now 80 HP here, it's not going to be easy to snipe them, and with pikemen on the field, your light cam will struggle as well, and these traps could have easily been dealt with if not pikemen were in the mix, but champions can contest pikemen again, so the champions addition again is working wonders for Vevi here. Looks like the traps will finally go down, but Andy still with wood and golden bank could resupply with at least a few of them here without any huge effort. Vevi is losing numbers again, KD 322 to 289 for Andy, so it's positive for Andy. But Andy with half the villagers of his adversary here, so it's not easy to tell how this is going to end. Both have resources in the bank to spend as well, so nothing is concluded here just yet. It's going to come down to a fight for the middle, as is often the case for golden maps like Golden Pit, Golden Swamp and Gold Rush, and this is Golden Pit. So we hear lots of wallows here, and this eco at home is stabilizing again after the raids. Massive fights going on in the middle. I think Vevi needs more production overall though to deal with this. Maybe a few more barracks to produce from or so. Extreme amounts of wood in the bank could potentially sell some wood as well, but no market for Vevi. And he has a market. Let's have a look at the prices actually. Yeah, selling prices for wood is pretty decent, 62 gold in return, so that could be a play to get some Greek gold access here. Rush a market up and just get going. And generally speaking, you never want to float lots of resources in the bank unless you're pop capped and can't really spend them here. More barracks coming up though, so maybe we'll be taking some middle presence here. He's fighting against 61 army here with 12 army of his own, so that's also going to cause some troubles here. And the monks being just extremely annoying here when it comes to any army Vevi can bring to the field. Traps now pretty safe in the middle here, dealing with some of the production capabilities again. I don't see any barracks rushed up in the back or something. It's going to be this forward production for Vevi, bringing the light caveat again, but still quite a few pikes in the middle to deal with. But now finds a route straight towards the traps here. Should probably be able to get a trap pick off or two here. Seeing the control in the middle though is still lots of gold and stone to take for whoever controls the middle, and middle fighting here is just a giant mess here. The monks are the most important units to take out here I think for Vevi, but Andy with the gold control would still be able to replenish monks for a long time here. He's even collected a relic here. There's two monsters producing monks, and Andy is content with this so far. Now taking into Eagle Warrior. So Andy wants to go for a switch here, but Vevi, realizing reclaiming the middle will be kind of tough and probably annoyed to hell by these monks, taps out and calls the GG, and it's Andy taking the 2-0 for this set. KD 425 to 349, but look at the units converted. That's a number you don't see that high that often. 77 units converted, 60 to 6 ratings. Pretty similar uptimes here all the way. So great display from Vevi as well. He is around 200 elo below Andi after all, so great job, even with and ending with a loss in the end. It's a good performance. Alright, now let's find the next set. Let's just update the scores here.